All right, Mr. Jagan, how do you take the Myanmar's president's visit to the U.S.? Is this more of an advantage to Obama or to Thein Sein?
Oh, there's no question that this is an advantage to Thein Sein. I mean, I think Obama will be pleased and he'll find it as a vindication of the White House's policy. But there's no doubt that Thein Sein, since he came to power in March 2011, the glittering prize was to have a state visit to Washington and to have the approval of the American administration on their reform process. There's no question that Thein Sein has much more to gain from this than Obama.
Now, are there any implications we can draw on from Thein Sein's visit to the White House this time to the expansion of Yangon's international airport project? Because there are other bidders such as South Korea, China, Japan who wants to join in. So do you think that Myanmar's visit to the U.S. this time will make them lean more to the U.S. companies to join the bid?
Oh, I think I've no doubt that the government is very keen to have American businesses bidding for infrastructure projects like the airport. They want to see American businesses return to Burma in a very big way. They know that American businesses have fairly strident rules that they have to operate with. They cannot be involved in under-the-table payments, and they have to be scrupulous in terms of accountability and transparency. So the government isn't going to be able to give them a sort of a nod and a wink, but they are going to be in a position to say that the situation with foreign investment now is different from what it was before. The new committee that looks into investment, the Myanmar Investment Committee, has been revamped. There's a new chairman, and I think Thein Sein will be telling both the White House and American businesses that actually Burma is open for business and that it's going to be a level playing field for Western companies.
Right.
Human rights advocates say that Obama's invitation is taking pressure off Myanmar to address internal community of violence, to which security forces allegedly turned a blind eye. Would this issue remain a hurdle for Myanmar in terms of pushing up trade with Western countries, in your opinion?
Well, I think there are two things. I think, first of all, I don't believe that Western businesses are really all that interested in the human rights situation in the country. They are concerned about violence. They are concerned about stability. So the recent violence between the Muslims and the Buddhists will certainly make some businesses skeptical. But there's no doubt that politically, this is a thorny thing for the Obama administration, because they've been pushing the human rights card very strongly, and the kinds of things that are being allowed to go on unstopped in Burma, particularly in Arakan with the Rohingyas, the fighting in Kachin State. These are things that the American government finds unpalatable. And will certainly be taking it up with Thein Sein when he's in Washington. But of course, they're also going to be criticized and are being criticized by human rights groups for not taking a stronger line with Thein Sein.
Right. Now, Larry, let's turn to also another issue regarding on the U.S. side, as the U.S. also needs to move even closer to Myanmar because it links the U.S. with other Southeast Asian nations as well in order to widen the U.S.'s Asia-Pacific pivot right now, and also to catch up with China. Do you think that this belief is plausible, in your opinion?
Well, there's no doubt that America is very keen to strengthen its position in Myanmar, and that part of it, not all of it, but part of it is to try and reduce the influence of China. The likelihood that there will be increased military exchanges, that's army to army, is very strong, and that is certainly something that the Chinese won't like. And there's no doubt it's another way of trying to reduce Chinese influence. I think that China understands that that Burma needs to be more independent, that it cannot be as dominated by China or by Beijing as it has been,
right.
and that it's sensible to have a more of a balanced position as far as the Americans are concerned. I don't think America sees this, though, as an important strategic step in terms of the rest of Southeast Asia, because obviously the US and Washington have very strong relations with many Southeast Asian countries, particularly Thailand. But there's no doubt that this is a very important strategic country that links Southeast Asia with South Asia, and the Americans are very keen to have some major influence in there, and to see trade flow not only between Myanmar and America, but to see it flow generally, and to see the seas, particularly the Andaman Sea, open up as a channel for trade. So I think there are strategic interests, and it is partly motivated by an attempt to balance the Chinese influence. But I think one could stress that too much.
Right. Right. Thank you very much, Larry, for joining us.